Hello, welcome to the next review, which will be DuckTales.
DuckTales is a reimagining of the great 1990s TV show that used to be on Disney Afternoon. They updated it now, and we've got I think it's the first two episodes combined to make one episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can pretty much tell this is two episodes squashed together in this premiere for this TV show because in the middle of it there's the theme song.
Unless it's actually two episodes, otherwise.
Yeah, it is two episodes. But what do you think?
That was pretty good.
This show, coming from someone who saw the original show, and I was in my, my adolescence when I saw the original on the Disney Afternoon every day on Channel 11. This show is wildly fun. Not only is it fun, it's funny. It hits all its marks. This is really a well-made show, and it is damn near hysterical at points. There were some jokes where I was laughing so hard I couldn't hear the next line of dialogue. You want to go to the story, or you want me to do it?
You did.
Alright, the basic story is Donald has to go to a job interview and he doesn't want to leave the boys alone. The boys are adventurous lads to the point where they tell their babysitter the wrong directions. So she's left somewhere out in the desert. And Donald has to figure out what to do with the kids, so he thinks he's going to take them to... what's his name? Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah.
Scrooge McDuck, on the other hand, is a character who has lost all his sense of adventure, and he's literally has a bunch of accountants who are crows. Do with that joke what you will. And he's really stopped doing adventuring. He's just sitting around, not even enjoying his money. He's not the Scrooge McDuck from the 90s version who was always jumping into his, vault of gold. He's kind of like empty inside because he stopped doing adventures. Then that's when
Scrooge McDuck comes in?
no, the boys come into Scrooge McDuck's life.
Yeah.
So Donald drops him off so he can go for his job interview. They run across Scrooge McDuck and they're like, "Oh, he's the legend. He's this person that is an adventurer," while their Uncle Donald, I guess, has left them as being unexciting and everything like that. What the boys don't know is that Donald himself was an adventurer and he used to join Scrooge McDuck on all these outings. How the boys find that is very funny, because first they're introduced, for all you fans of the 90s show, to Mrs. Beakley, who is kind of a stick in mud, very strict maid this time around, and she throws him in the room. When they finally escape to the room, they meet, is it her daughter or her niece?
I'm pretty sure it's her daughter.
They meet Mrs. Beakley's daughter, Webby.
Wendy.
No, it's Webby.
Are you talking about the original or this one?
No, this is called Webby.
No, it's Wendy.
Yeah, it's Webby Vanderbeek.
Wendy.
Alright, we'll look.
Also, it's her granddaughter.
Okay, it's her granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's Webby.
Whatever. Her Wendy.
No, it's Webby.
Whatever, anyway.
Anyway, so they meet her, and one of the most drastic reimaginings in this show is the fact that now Webby is someone who is enamored with the tales of Donald and Scrooge McDuck. She literally has heard about them like they're legends, and she wants to know about them. Meanwhile, Huey, Dewey, and Louie have no idea of this existence. So that kind of brings a nice contrast between the two characters and actually makes Webby a lot more likable character than she was in the original. Matter of fact, Webby, I don't know if this is the same voice actor, but she sounds like Louise from Bob's Burger. Look up that connection, and she kind of acts like her because she's an adrenaline junkie. She does have a very good line where she's like, I'm gonna be an adventurer and I'm gonna have a hamburger. That's the joke. It was freaking hysterical.
I'm gonna eat a hamburger.
I'm gonna eat a hamburger. Through contrived means to cut this a little bit shorter, they see Scrooge McDuck in action. They go to his vault of artifacts and they find a ghost and they let him loose, and so we get to see an action scene, and it ends, don't say it, in a pretty funny way. Not gonna tell you how it ends, but it's hilarious. So after all this, you have this whole thing where Scrooge McDuck is invigorated again, and he wants to do adventures, and he wants to show the boys what adventuring is. In between all of this is the introduction also of Launchpad McQuack, who is
a pilot.
no, he's a chauffeur.
What?
He's a chauffeur. He's his driver.
Yeah.
He to play off the archetype from Launchpad McQuack from Darkwing Duck and the original DuckTales, is Launchpad McQuack is Scrooge McDuck's driver this time. And there's a nice running gag where every time Scrooge McDuck says, "Oh, I need somebody to fly a plane," Launchpad would say,
I'm a pilot.
Yeah, it's pretty funny too because he's obviously a pilot. So they all get together, and that's pretty much the end of the first episode. The beginning of the second episode is where we see Scrooge McDuck taking everyone to go get the lost city of Atlantis. So this gives these people an excuse to go on a mission. The interesting part about this is we finally see the conclusion of what Donald was interviewing for to begin with, to start this whole menagerie. And it's the fact that he's applying for a job with Scrooge McDuck's #1 villain.
I forgot his name already.
Flint Hart Glomgold. Thanks for adding nothing.
You're welcome.
He's auditioning. He's interviewing for Flint Hart Glomgold, and he gets the job because Flint Hart knows that he knows Scrooge. So he becomes automatically one of Scrooge McDuck's, Flint Hart's head assassins. Yeah, Disney XD is getting that deep. And so they go on an adventure to try to find the lost city of Atlantis. Along the way, we kind of find out who the blue duck is.
Dewey. You seriously forgot his name?
No, I just wanted you to say something. Yeah, we find out about Dewey. And this is kind of an interesting turn from the original cartoons, and even when the original Huey, Dewey, and Louie dynamics come in, because of the fact that Dewey gets to stand out. You can tell they're trying to make each of the brothers a little bit different this time around, and not just three people all agreeing to do the same thing. But at the same time, they're not. They're just enough alike where they don't feel like they're Ninja Turtles, where the red one's the badass, the blue one's the leader, purple one's the geek, the yellow? The yellow one's the...
Orange.
Is it?
Yes.
Alright, the orange one is, the adventure, or the goofy one. They kind of still have the same personality, but at the same time, Dewey is the more adventurous one, and he's the one who wants the most trouble. A lot of the action that goes on in the second episode is because Dewey is screwing things up on purpose to make it dangerous for everyone. We're still watching it right now again, actually, so what do you have to say?
Show was funny.
The ending kind of felt a little bit rushed. I would have liked this to be like maybe 4 episodes, because the conclusion to the second episode really felt like, let's throw all this stuff together in at one time. The story itself is hysterical. There are homages and odes to all of the Disney stuff. Maxine, Max's girlfriend from Goof Troop, is in it twice. They mention one of the cities from Tailspin. They mention Cape Canaveral for you Darkwing Duck fans.
Saint Canard.
Saint Canard. They mention one of the Spoonerville from, once again, Goof Troop. So they're not afraid to throw out homages, but they do it in a smart and clever way. I will say where I have an issue is, and you probably won't because you've never seen the original, there's some of the voice work I don't think is the best. While I can get used to Scrooge McDuck's voice, I have major issues with Launchpad's voice. You know, you've seen Launchpad. What do you think his voice, since you've seen Darkwing Duck?
Yeah, I don't like this much.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Launchpad's voice. Just didn't work. I don't mind the boys' voice. They're actually pretty good. They sound a little bit too oldish, though. They sound like they're in their 20s when they should be in their 12s. I like Webby's voice. Like I said, she sounds like Louise from Bob's Burgers. And Louise is done by a guy. Glomgo's voice is a lot of fun. He is very funny. I didn't find Donald's voice as annoying as it could have been. There were times where I couldn't tell what the hell he was saying, but he was really good. Altogether, this is a little fun bit of nostalgia. At least for me. You've never seen it, so you don't have that same effect. You want to rate the first 2 episodes? You want to rate the first 2 episodes, or?
9.7.
I'll agree with you. If you're a fan of the original, go out of your way to see this. The only bad thing about it is we have to wait another month till we get episode 3. But whatever, it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of funny jokes. The characters are all really likable. Even the bad guys. I can't wait to see the next episode. And for those of you who don't know, there will be a lot of characters coming back. We will be getting Gizmo Duck. We'll be getting the Beagle Boys, Ma Beagle. We'll be getting a lot of the characters from the original. And just to end this the way it needs to end, we will be going to St. Canard. And for those of you who don't know, that means we will be getting
dangerous. Hopefully you figured that out. Good night, peace.